Stirling Talks, Stirling Community Radio. Wilson here. What you're hearing now, no, we're not outside. We are actually in the studios here, just above the Maiden Stirling shop, and Sam is here with me. And you can't see it because this is radio. But if you could see it, it's amazing. It's an animation that was recently presented by you all to the police? What are you doing getting the police to watch? And it's a very cool animation. I like it with the birds and all that. A bird's eye view on hate crime. Well, that makes a little bit more sense. What is this all about? You just presented this to the police, right?
Yeah, so we've been working last year with our group of youth volunteers to create an animation about hate crime awareness. So it started with, there's a lot of young people that we work with that have experienced hate crime, and they wanted to create something that educates not just about how to report it, but a bit of where does it stem from. And we worked with our local police inclusion officer, Rebecca, and she was brilliant, and artist David Glettley, who's based in our space. And because it was taken so well, we were asked to present it at the Scottish Police College, and we did that yesterday. Our young people that worked on the animation came along, and it's basically it's to educate EDI officers in the police all across Scotland, and we've made with LGBT Scotland a session plan so that they can deliver it in schools and community groups.
So a bird's eye view, which here on the radio means, you're looking at something from afar and maybe a little differently there. I love the way it was presented, though, because it was smart but yet very simple. And when you see this, and we'll have it linked up on our social media, describe for people that haven't seen this what they're going to see when they do watch.
Yeah, so we wanted to tell the story in a way that everyone could understand, because, the group that we work with were a certain characteristic, and we wanted it to, address all kind of different protected characteristics that could experience hate crime. So we decided to do it in a way that's simple, doesn't need language or anything like that to tell the story. And the young people decided to use birds, because birds were kind of a metaphor for diversity. There's so many different types of birds out there. And the story kind of begins with two, I guess, parent birds in a nest with its little young bird, and they're kind of squawking, and it's, got the exclamation points, hashtags. It's meant to be like, negative language that the young bird's hearing, and it fills up with the same colour as the parents and flies out of the nest, and it's kind of tells the story of like a hate crime happening where they're targeting a bird that's a different colour. And then the whole idea of the story was to kind of explain that all the acts of hate tend to stem from your background, learning from your parents or community, and how these experiences shape who you are, and you maybe pick up these negative opinions and you don't know any different. So people that commit acts of hate doesn't mean that they're bad people, it's that they don't really understand difference. And the whole scene kind of looks through the eyes of the perpetrator, the person that commits the crime, the victim that gets been targeted, and then the witness that offers support. And it kind of tells a story through birds. And yeah, I guess you need to watch it, but it's very cleverly done, I would say.
Let me just, and we could do a whole hour just on this topic, I know. I'll just say from somebody that's just seen it recently, I think it's something that a 6-year-old could watch and understand, but also a 65-year-old could watch and get. It's simple yet very smart. And it's also just in a way that I think it does a very good job of explaining the environment where the little bird's in the nest, and the older birds are. You learn this behavior, and this is something where you're not born a hateful being, and it comes across very smart. So big congratulations to your volunteers for that. And it was volunteers helping out on this, right?
Yeah, so I guess we've been working on a few projects of the last few years. So we had this is part of branching across, no pun intended, 2 different projects. So it's basically a way for them to gain employability skills working in creative industries, but all different things as well, life skills and everything like that. So they were coming along every week and working on the project. And then this year, the projects have been refunded, but are kind of stemming away from different paths. But it's basically now opening up to more groups that could experience hate, so that it's that kind of idea of once we get to know each other, we treat each other better.
Yeah. And again, you've got to go watch it. We'll have it linked up on the socials. And David's work on this is you will recognize it if you've been around Stirling any length of time. I am such a fan, and just having that additional kind of work on this really added to it. Why was it important for you to present this to the police?
So, because we worked so well with our police inclusion officer, sadly she's on maternity leave. We are missing her so much. But there's a lot of young people that maybe don't necessarily know how to report a crime, or feel like they might not be supported, or they maybe don't trust the police. There's that kind of fragmented relationships that, a lot of stuff in the media can add to that. So it's a great way for them to, I guess, educate police on their experiences and hope to influence change, not just for people that experience hate crime, people that could potentially commit hate crimes to understand it, but the people that are out there in our communities, whether it's police or community workers, to kind of understand from the perspective of people that have experienced it and influence change that way. And it's teaching the story in a way that, as you said, everyone can understand it.
I think it's that, and it's just the awareness and just showing an easy way to kind of see empathy in action, which I don't think there's really enough empathy in the world, especially these days. One thing I noticed at the end, you asked to, and you give ways to help that you just mentioned about, like, what can you do if you experience this, if you wanted to do more. Another thing is at the end, you get into that some people may not know and maybe a bit unaware of what is a hate crime. I thought that was important to have at the end of this too.
Yeah, it is, because I guess a lot of people don't necessarily know. So it's basically, it can be online, it can be in person, it can be physical, it can be verbal, and it's basically either verbally or physically or online attacking someone because of their protected characteristics, whether that's race, gender, age, sexuality. So I guess, like, a lot of people, as it's shown in it, maybe they've been brought up in an environment where this othering happens, and they don't really understand or appreciate.
That's just the way it is. Back in my day, we used to do this and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
It's some awareness there, but there. I mean, and if you're listening to this, I know you'd be like, "Oh, I know what a hate crime is." Well, there's some people out there you may think you know, but you don't.
Yeah, and a lot of we had a few different stories that we're looking at doing, and one of them, the police were really helpful in that, because we had the witness kind of take more of an active role, but they really do promote safe intervention and not putting yourself in a situation of harm. So that was really important to get across, that it's more about supporting the person and reporting the hate crime rather than, putting yourself in a situation of danger.
Well, and that's a really good point to make, because there's ways you can help without endangering yourself. That's the big thing. You don't want to do that. So this is really great. So I love that you've done this. And again, we are going to have it linked up, and it's a great video. And again, it's something that reminded me of when I was a kid watching, some of the educational programs where it was like, oh, this is, and you're entertained, but you're also learning. But it's also something as an older person you can kind of appreciate and go, oh, that's a different way of looking at it. A bird's eye view, if you will, of something different. So I like to say I loop that back around there. You've got some events coming up here throughout the year, right?
Yeah, so it's now 2026, so some of our projects are continuing, changing, we're welcoming new people. So we actually had an event on Thursday night last week where we were it was called Community Welcome. We were welcoming new people in to come and meet us and see the space, because if we're opening up our projects to include more people, so it is people that have experienced challenges, barriers, or even experienced hate crime, it's a welcoming way for them to come in and meet us. It makes it coming along to projects much more comfortable if you've seen the space, you know what the people are like, you get to do a bit of creative activity. And then we've got one at the end of the month that is just been promoted. It's called Creative Futures, and we're really passionate about showcasing, if we do a careers fair at school, it seems that people are drawing their kids away from the creative industries table. They're like, you're going to be a lawyer. And we were like, we work with so many creative people, and all the different pathways and opportunities in the creative industries people don't know about. I certainly didn't know in college. I kind of landed on my feet here volunteering through my college course back in 2013, and here I am, a full-time member of staff, because it's not always clear like what opportunities there are, how to get into them. So we bring in different artists that are from different pathways and careers that our groups have highlighted would be of interest, and then it's kind of like a school careers fair, think of it that way, but more fun and hands-on, and you get to participate in creative activity as part of it.
And it's funny, and I've got quite a few more laps around the sun than you do, and I look back now and I cringe a bit, because I remember telling people coming up in the business, like, when I was doing radio and TV stuff back in the States and all that, have a backup plan. To get something else. Do your creative stuff, but figure out a way to pay the rent now. But if you really want to do it and figure it out, don't listen to that. You can figure out a way, and that's one of the missions I know of Creative Stirling, to help kind of fund. If you come in the shop, you may be thinking, oh, they're just helping out painters and sculptors, and there's so much more that Creative Stirling does.
Yeah, so we work with so many different creative people, and they're always so happy to help and give back. Yeah. And it's mainly creative, but we can dabble in a bit of like other kind of industries. It's really individualised support that we try to provide to our young people as well. So listening to them and then planning our programmes with and for them. So we've got like a youth steering group that are very much involved in helping us plan. They help us run our events. They help us set up. They help us decide, what's happening. So it's really all for them and planned with them. It's
and again, we could do an hour just on this topic, I know, but just, I was just thinking, if you were listening, I think 2 weeks ago, we were talking about the film industry, and our guest that day was talking about how this affects hospitality and tourism and crew people behind the scenes and how everything down the range here. It's the same thing in the creative industries. There's all kinds of different things you can do, all kinds of different ways you can help, from events to, putting it like many of the artists you'll see, to films, to all that kind of good stuff. So all of these events are coming up. Congratulations again on this great piece and the work with the police. I know you're very proud of that. If someone wants to find out more about these events, they want to be a part of this or something, what should they do?
Yeah, so you can find out information on our website at creativestirling.org. It is in need of an update. It will be getting on soon.
I've heard it's getting a bit of an update. So go, but just then come back in a month or two.
Yeah, or you can, we're on Instagram, Facebook, or you can contact me. It's samg@creativestirling.org, and I can answer questions you might have.
That's like the easiest email address ever.
It's not actually, because there's two Sams in this building.
Oh.
And his is sam@creativestirling.org, mine's is samg, so we get each other's emails all the time. So
well, just make sure it's Sam G.
Yeah.
The G is for great.
Oh yeah, Sam.
The G is for great. That's a good one. And green. So this will be good. So I know you've heard maybe a couple of the snippets of the show, but I'm going to have to change up my question that I don't let you know that I'm going to ask you, because I've asked this now a few people, and a few people have picked up that, you're going to ask me a secret question here. So, Sam G, putting you on the spot here, what was the very first concert you went to?
Oh, what was it? Do I think it was James Blunt at Stirling Castle.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, wow, that's a good one.
The first it was one, I think Mum bought us tickets. The first one that I probably decided, it was probably a rock band. I think it was, I can't remember. I've seen a lot.
Yeah.
But yeah, probably James Blunt at the Castle. I think was.
I mean, for a first concert, that's not bad.
Yeah, I think I must have been like 12 or something that. Yeah. I put Stirling Castle, wild. But yeah, I used to go to gigs a lot. I used to be a drummer in a band.
Really?
Yeah, a long time ago. I don't go as much now. I find them so expensive.
What was this band you were a drummer in? What kind of music?
It was like prog metal.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Wow.
I've got a drum kit upstairs.
All right, we're off. Let's go. Really?
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Yeah, back in the day, I used to have like red hair, the biggest side fringe you've ever seen, and pink tartan skinny jeans.
Favorite drummer?
Mike Portnoy.
Wow. You were really going deep here.
I know, right? Same.
One of my favorite drummers, Kate Schellenbach. Early Beastie Boys.
Okay, yeah.
Early Beastie Boys, and then the band they were in after the Beastie Boys and all that stuff. So I'm a big fan. Luscious Jackson.
Oh, nice.
Oh, the Beats for Life. Do you know Luscious Jackson? I don't think they did a lot over here, but I love them. I didn't get to play them a lot on the radio in the 90s, but I love them. They were so Luscious Jackson. Check that out.
Oh, well, you need to give me a list.
No, that's good.
I'd like to get back into it as like a fun hobby, but I just don't have time.
Well, we could. You know what? We could do an hour on drummers. We could do. Listen, Sam, I could do an hour on you and just about anything. I think. Listen, great stuff. Yeah. Great events. Congrats again. Really great stuff. Helping the community. This is a tough topic to talk about. It's important to talk about to get the awareness out there. Please show empathy to others. Check all this out. Come to one of the events. And Sam, thank you very much.
Thank you so much for having us.
Great stuff. Stirling Talks. This is Stirling Community Radio.